That's not what happened. I just finished eating and my card declined. Who are you? Are you the manager here? Because if you are, you need to fire this little thing, this bundle of garbage, okay? I finished eating and my card is declining, so I want to go home, get cash, and pay what I owe. And she's telling me I can't go.
I am truly sorry about that, but you have to pay for what you owe. That is the rule.
And who exactly do you think you are? Do you have any idea who you are speaking to? Do you have any idea who my father is? Because he will turn this whole place into a kiosk if he finds out what you're doing to me here. Treating me like a criminal? Wait, you know what? You look like the chef. Call me the manager.
Manager! Yes, I am the manager. Look, I encounter people like you every day, and I know how to humble you. If you don't pay this money, you're not leaving here. That is the rule. Do you understand? Do not let her leave this place. Please.
You ask me what do we do? You just keep this. Thanks. James isn't picking up either. Imagine Natasha telling me she doesn't have money. She doesn't have money. I saw her on a yacht yesterday on her Instagram story. She doesn't have money, my ass.
Gosh. And I just paid up my rent. I'm not having any cash with me.
Okay, daughter of the governor, as the manager of this noble restaurants, you girls will have to help us tidy up this place very well, clean up everywhere, wash the dishes, because in the next hour, 30 minutes, we'll be closing up. So yeah, just get to it, okay?
Hey, you can't do this to us. I mean, it's not nice.
Hey, manager of a kiosk. We are not. Stop touching that thing, okay? And it is very insulting for you to think that either of us will touch these things. Do you understand that? We will not. I will have this place shut down. Never will we lower ourselves to touch these instruments, okay?
Okay. Daughter of a senator, since you couldn't pay common 21,000 naira, you have to pick that instrument and clean up this place. And when you're done blabbing, you get to work. Rubbish.
Hey, don't do like that.
Shut up your mouth. Don't do kill you there.
No, I can't do this.
I am not touching it. Cindy, you start.
Oh, wow. I cannot touch this. No, I can't face this. I don't do that. No.
I should start. Cindy, you should start.
How?
Hello. This is the African Actions Network. I am James Johnson sitting here. That short video is not a purpose for which we are here today. Okay. And how you doing? It is important that we discuss what we are here for. Well, there's a lot of information coming out of Liberia, but we want to deal with one specific issue, and that has to do with we are hearing a lot of information about the upcoming election. People are predicting that they're going to win election on the first round. All right. And I just thought to give some analysis to that. And let me say that it is very unlikely that anyone will win the 2023 October elections on the first ballot, meaning the first round. It's not very It could be, but it's very, very unlikely that that will happen. George Weah cannot win elections on first ballot. Alexander Cummings cannot win election on first ballot. The United Party, Joseph Boyd cannot win election on first ballot. And Tewan Gonglo, None of these presidential candidates are set to win election on first ballot. Why am I saying that? First, let's look at the let's take a look at the senatorial listing and make some short analysis on that, and then we go straight into the figure that we have, the figure that's coming from the National Elections Commission, the register of voters. Let's look at a few 2017 elections and see whether it's possible for even the incumbent to win election on first ballot. The senatorial candidate listing, I was browsing through and I came up with, came to understand. And those of you can share the video, or better still, you can make a comment if you have any reason to differ with what we're saying. This is a democratic space. I love democracy because, yeah, people who are knowledgeable can disagree with information being put out. So if you disagree with us, just tell us, hey, Johnson, you're talking craziness. That's not true. John Brown, Peter Paul, or this candidate going to win election on the first ballot. But my reading is that no one can win this coming election on first ballot. First round is not very possible. It's not very likely possible. It is unlikely. All right, and as I said, let's see the listing. Liberia, there's 15 political subdivision of Liberia, and political parties should have establishment in all of the 15 political subdivision. By doing that, they would have collected votes from each of these counties. Meaning you have influential senators who will campaign on the basis of the party's manifesto, and Liberian will go for it. So it is a known fact that every party will grab, or every candidate will grab some votes. It's out of that person, that person's wife, that person's children, that person's family to some extent, right? It's reasonable to think that way. Even though, under some circumstances, very much so, some family members will not vote for people that they really know. And especially where ballot casting is a secret ballot, you're not going to know who somebody voted for. So some persons will just look at you in the face and go to the ballot box and do something very different. All right. So we look at the senatorial listing. Okay, from my reading now, I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, just correct me. But I'm certain that what I'm reading from the NEC website. In fact, the NEC website has some issues. I think I sent an email, so I've not received a response yet because it's not user friendly. You can't go in there and do a research. For example, I went there. They had a lot of PDF that when you click on cannot be downloaded. Don't tell me it's my computer. My computer is a brand new computer, and I don't want to talk about that. But I tried that several times. The only thing that I got open was the senatorial listing. Other than that, for example, I wanted to know the 2017 elections result, know the percentage of like George Weah, what he won on, so that I could better, compare that to the figure that we already have and be able to have the discussion and tell you why do I think that even George Weah cannot win on first ballot. Right? So the NEC website is not very user-friendly. I can't go in there and just easily search. Whatever reason to do it, I don't know. But I sent my email and I told them, this is my experience. All right. There's a contact email, so that I did write a short email on that. But what I'm saying here is that the senatorial listing, the CDC is now feeding 15 senatorial candidates in the upcoming elections. My reading is that there will be feeding 13 candidates out of the 15. All right. So one thing I didn't see on the NEC's senatorial candidate listing, and maybe it's my error, but I didn't see that. It's like you have CDC, you list the candidate, the parties, but I didn't see the counties that those persons will be contesting for. All right. So maybe we have to keenly look at them. Maybe I'll do that later for another broadcast. Look at, for example, CDC has 13 senatorial candidates, right? So out of the 13, let's say out of the 15, political subdivision CDC is going to be feeding 13 senatorial candidates. Now, we're going to be looking at that. That's important because if CDC has influential senators, that would be to their advantage, right? And I think that's the highest senatorial candidate as compared to other political parties, right? So CDC will be having 13 senatorial candidates in 13 political subdivisions. So I will have to go in there and see which of the parties that the CDC, not which of, but which of the counties that the CDC would be, contesting on as far as senatorial position is concerned. Then we also look at which of the counties that they will not be feeding candidates. So these are two important issues, but I wasn't able to go too deep because I don't have too much time. So the 13 senatorial candidates, if the CDC is able to, if the candidate, now that's another thing, we will have to look at the personalities that will be on the face of the CDC ballot when it comes to Liberian deciding who to be the next senator. So if you look at even the current performance, if you have most of the old senators on the CDC face of the ballot, that might be a problem for the CDC. So the number could be one thing, and the performance of those old senators could be another issue, right? But take it as it is, CDC will have more advantage than other political parties as far as the number is concerned. Now, I'm careful here because it's not because of number. Election is anyone's game. The people vote as per their own perspective of what they think about a candidate. So not necessarily because you own CDC ticket. All right. So, but as far as number is concerned, even if you have the least person on the ballot, that person has a friend, that person has some relative. So that person will get a vote. That's my analysis. It's also possible that person will not have a vote since vote is all about secret ballot. But CDC indeed has 13, they will be feeding 13 individuals for the Liberian Senate. All right. The next in line is the CPP. The CPP, from my reading of what has been published, the CPP is going to be feeding 7 persons or 7 candidates for the Liberian Senate. Okay, so the CPP is going to be feeding 7 candidates, and the United Party is going to be feeding 6 candidates. Now, that's another issue. The United Party is the former ruling government. They ruled Liberia for 12 years. But they cannot feed 15 candidates. To feed 6 candidates, that disadvantages them. Right? That disadvantages them. CDC, as far as the number is concerned, CDC has an advantage over all of these political parties because CDC is going to be feeding 13, while the United Party is going to be feeding 6 candidates. Even the CPP that is just coming is feeding 7 candidates. All right. And the LPP is going to be feeding 5 candidates. All right. And then you have 23 independent senatorial candidates in the race. The listing, that's what I'm saying, right? So the independents are more than CDC's candidates in the race, senatorial race. So, by this, you can clearly see that um, with the registered voters, it is hard to conclude that senators of the CDC will really get the majority of the vote. The independent people, the only thing we have to do here is to look at the personalities, and that's something I will do later. But the personality will also speak. We can deduce to know whether people on the face of the CDC can actually get the number, meaning the voters voting in that direction or not. Um, for example, if the LPP has 5 senatorial candidates and the 5 senatorial candidates are influential persons within those counties that probably CDC is feeding 13 in, then that's something we can look at too. Look at the personalities and look at their performances, despite those who be in government. Look at their performances and look at what they've been doing in their electoral district and see the new faces that the LTP is putting up or the CPP is putting up or the independent candidates that are out there. So you can see clearly that there is a lot to analyze when it comes to who can win election on first ballot. Now I'm looking at the presidency, but the backup is if you have more senators or if you have representation, the party has representation in all of the counties, in my view, that will give them some advantage in getting the numbers. All right. But that also, let me be quick to say this. That also is a problem because sometimes you have a senatorial candidate can be popular than the presidential candidate. All right. We saw that before. And we know that can happen. Or the voters can decide, you know what, this senator, I'm going to vote for the senator, but not the party, not the standard bearer. I don't like the standard bearer, I'm not going to vote for him. But this individual, I'm going to vote for the individual. So there's a lot of things that come into play when you're making decisions as to how do you see how election results is going to be, right? So all we can say, the CDC is feeding 13 persons to be senators that will represent the CDC in the House of Senate. The CPP is going to be feeding 7 persons, 8 to win to represent 7 counties in the Liberian Senate. The LPP will be feeding 5 persons. If they win, they'll be representing the LPP and the county they come from within the Liberian Senate. The UP is feeding 6 candidates. So the 6 candidates, indeed, if they win, they're going to be representing the UP and those counties in the Liberian Senate. On the overall, we have, not the overall, the independent candidate, we have about 23 of them. So 23 of them is very likely that if I had covered the 15 and some of them are also there. Again, you can have, as I said, these things require analysis, all right? The 23 candidates is possible you have 2, 3 from one county or 2 from one county or maybe 4 or more from one county. So that you can say whether even the independent also cover the entire county, which is very impossible. That's something I don't think the 23 are all representative of the different counties, because I believe some of them are from, like for example, look at most of our country, right? You have a lot of independent persons who want to be senator. I don't know much about. I had to really look through these numbers very keen and try to identify the faces and see what we can make for the discussion on this. All right. But I'm saying it's not possible for any presidential candidate to win on first ballot. This is my rationale. The first thing is, let's talk about George Weah, the incumbent. George Weah last election did not win on first ballot. When the George Weah was the George Weah who just came from the football field, who was considered to be popular, did not win election on first ballot. Can he win election on first ballot now after he has performed, after he has discouraged some of the very persons that were on board with him? When the CDC is calling on all of the old partisans to get back on board. I'm saying that because there are many Liberians who got discouraged as a result of George Weah's performance. So if George Weah, who was George Weah, could not win election of first ballot, can he win election of first ballot in the second election? I say second election because the leadership, I mean, if they win, this would be their second and final term, right? So That is the issue. Can George Weah win election? I'm hearing from Eugene Nangwe, the campaign chairman of the CDC. He's saying we are going to win on first ballot. Well, anybody can say that, right? But let's make the analysis of the figure. Can George Weah win on first ballot? Can he win on first ballot? Can he get 50% plus one vote to win election? What is 50% of the number right now out? But let's talk, before I go to that, let's go back to 2017 elections. 2017 elections, 2017 elections, sorry. 2017 elections, you had Joe Weah had 39%. The first one vote, he had 39%, which was short of 50%. At least we talk about the plus one. So the 39% was approximately around 800,000 votes. That was what he got, right? Something more than, I think a little more than 800,000 votes he got in the first one, 39%. I think I was trying to look for, that's what I want on the election commission, because I wanted to see some of the numbers they had and be able to really juxtapose that with the current figure that we have. But from reading other sources, I got to realize that Joe Weah had 39% in the first round. That couldn't give him the first round victory. 39% was a little more than 800,000. I think the registered voters were 2.1 million, 2.1 plus million. All right. So that's lesser than today. Today we have 2.471 plus million voters, registered voters. So this time it's more. The 2023 election, you have more registered voters than 2017. So when we had 2.1 million votes, George Weah could not even get 1 million votes. When George Weah was the George Weah that everybody thought was the best person to become president. All right. He could not win on first ballot. So after his performance, why would anyone want to convince us that he can win on first ballot? With all of the political noise, with all of the bad rules, with all of the bad economic conditions and everything, why would anybody think Joe Weah can win on first ballot? It's very unlikely. I'm not saying he can, but it's very unlikely. It's difficult for him to reach that number. He cannot get. That's my analysis. That's my opinion. It's difficult for George Weah to get 50 plus one vote. 50% plus one. Let me say it right there. It's hard for him to get 50% plus one vote. 50% plus one vote would be like 1,200,000. 1,200,000. I think 200,000, 24, something. But what I'm saying to you is more than 1.2 million persons. To win on first ballot, you might have a little more than 1.2 million votes. So Joe Weah did not get 1 million votes. He got less than 1 million votes last elections, thus not winning election on first ballot. Can he do it this time around? No, he cannot. That's my analysis. I'm not sure. I don't think he can win election on first ballot. The reason why I'm having this discussion is because when people are put on the illusion or on the thought that, Joe Weah can win election, these are some of the reasons why people get disenchanted at election, especially when the incumbent does not win election. It becomes troubling. People want to get in the streets. People want to demonstrate. People want to say, well, we're supposed to win the election on first ballot. So when we start making these analysis, some people will start to think seriously, and they themselves, I want everybody to go back to the numbers, see the numbers, and then compare them and be able to come to a conclusion. It's not possible for George Weah to win an election on first ballot. Whether you like him or not, that's not the issue here. But the issue is, let's look at the numbers. It's not possible. Very likely, it's not possible. It is unlikely that he will win election on first ballot. And these are some of the reasons we're looking. The first thing is, when George Weah was now known and got into the race, coming with his popularity from the football field, many persons thought he was, the person that could really deliver. the expectation of Liberian, meaning who have done better. So he was given the chance. He has performed a lot of noise about money, corruption, killings, and many other stuff have taken place under his watch. That's got other people to think differently. Even I'm associating. I thought Joe Weah would have been better. Last election, I remember my good friend. I would say that man, Councillor Jonathan, right? He must have had some little disagreement on these kind of a situation. So I'm saying to you that Josh Weah got 39%, not even close to 50% plus one. So that did not give him the win on the first ballot. So Eugene Nangwe, what would Eugene Nangwe think Joe Weah can win election on the first ballot? Let Eugene Nangwe come up with his, let him give us some of the rundown. Let's see what he think, what is he relying on. If election is free, fair, and transparent, Josh Weah very likely cannot win the first ballot. And the reason is, look at all of the factors around you. This current senatorial race, Mosovado County, the biggest county in terms of voters. Darrell Dillon defeated the CDC in Mosovado County. So it means that people got disenchanted, people got dissatisfied, people were not happy with the CDC, not because of the face of the senatorial candidate with CDC, but the CDC as a whole could not win senatorial seat in Mosovado. Mosovado is still Mosovado, right? Those voters are still there. So those voters' disagreement, you can look at all those things and say, hey, Mr. President, it's not possible for you to win on first ballot. Now we'll come to the second part. If Joe Weah doesn't win on first ballot, then what's going to happen next when the election goes for second round? We're going to talk about that, right? But if he doesn't win on first ballot, that means it becomes more tougher for him. That's what I would say. But let's look at the figure. Let's continue to look at the figure for him and other person. So 39% was George Weah's was George Weah percentage for the first round in 2017 elections, and that was less than 900 votes, was 800 plus votes. 800,000, not 800, 800,000 votes. So George Weah last election could not get 1 million votes, even close to the number that he needed to win election on the first ballot. So for him to win election, 50% plus one, he needs something more than 1.2 million votes. He needs something a little less than 1.3 million votes. So he needs about 1.2 million 200,000 about 47 votes, then plus one. Okay, that's just my rough calculation about that. They figure the number. But in total, you can say he cannot get 1.2 plus million votes. It is going to be very unlikely for him to get that number. Why? The factors are all around. There are situations all around. Okay. And yeah. So let's look at the CPP. The CPP also cannot win on first ballot. Everybody have that high expectation, but people must be real with themselves, and that's what help a good strategist. When you can tell yourself, you say, you know what, we cannot win on first ballot. It helps you to strategize for the second round. It helps you to have discussions with those other presidential candidates, make friends with those other smaller parties, so that when the second round comes, you will not be struggling already to talk to people. But if you keep that hard, oh, I'm going to win on first ballot, and it doesn't happen, that time interval, you're not going to have time to reach out to those people. People say, wait, now, why you thought about us before? Why are you coming to us right now? So we're giving you free advice here, right? Keep the consultation going, right? And politics is not about enemyship. It's not about hatred. It's about keep your platform, keep your manifesto, keep your numbers, or keep your party direction in the same vein. Look at other political parties, have friendly discussions, just sit around the meal or whatever, dinner table, discuss or whatever you people do, and keep discussing the issues. But if you think that you're going to win the first ballot, and honestly, keep this recording, keep this something. It's very unlikely that anyone in the presidential race will win the first ballot. Georgia, even the incumbent cannot. So if the incumbent cannot win the first ballot, then the CPP cannot win the first ballot. It's very unlikely. I'm not saying he might be being who they are. Maybe Liberia can get it and say, why we're going to order all going to vote for Georgia. Give him 50 plus 1%, 50% plus 1. Or they can say, well, we're going for Alexander Cumming. We'll give Alexander Cumming 50% plus 1. Or we're going for Tier 1, going to 50 plus 1%. Or we're going for United Party. Or any of those persons who have listed their names to contest the presidency. Right? So, but that's the case. So the CPP get 7 senatorial candidates. Means those persons going to be campaigning for them in those counties that they're representing. I'm not sure. The 7 persons will definitely be for each of those counties, each of those 7 counties. Now, as I said, the NEC listing did not capture the counties that this person is going to be representing. So we're going to figure out where those persons come. We're going to look at some names and look at persons and say, okay, they come from this county, or they're going to represent this party. And we'll see how we can pair them with other candidates within the same counties. And we ought to expand our discussion. All right. So the CPP cannot win the first ballot. Likewise, the LPP cannot win the first ballot. LPP has five senatorial candidates. And depending on the influence of these persons, they can make a hallmark. All right. Now, in a kind of a serious fight, an individual being the face of a Senate can be helpful to the presidential bid of their party. The UP has 6. The UP is feeding 6%. So once again, none of these parties, CDC, CPP, LPP, UP, neither any of the other political parties can win election on first ballot. That's my analysis. If you disagree with me, tell me the reason why. All right, and I can disagree with your thought too. But that's what I think. None will win election on first ballot, the presidential election on first ballot. Okay, and so that's the crux of this short discussion. Can George Weah win on first ballot? Very, very, very unlikely. He cannot. The factors are more. Even as we speak right now, the young lady, Charlotte Musu death, is hanging water, the way it's going. Those things can sway people vote. Those things can discourage people. Since Charlotte Musu died, when like George Weah ever had even to say, nobody's saying George Weah when they talk about the code, how the code should rule, and everything. But if for God heaven's sake, let us say, oh my people, this killing, it must stop. This young girl had a future. Why was she killed in such a fashion? Send some strong words to guide people to stop this kind of a situation. The president cannot do that either. This is going to discourage people. Think about Imai Yusuf. Imai Yusuf was a personal friend of mine. Imai Yusuf myself. By internal audit, he must said 2 of us. So Imai Yusuf death really got to me. And I started thinking different factors came to my mind when Imai Yusuf died. Right. So nobody could go into those things and come up with a clear report that will speak to the circumstances that killed him. That swayed people away from the CDC. The auditors, Abba Peter worked with me. All right. I knew Abba Peter personally. When I was at the internal audit, these are fine gentlemen, right? So when these kind of things happen, the way you approach it will keep your base intact. The way you approach it, your base, people will deflect, people will get disenchanted, people will disagree with, people will tell you, no, we don't think this is the man who's going to represent our country. Now, this is a time that other fighters going to interplay. I listened to somebody talking about 16 billion. Get recent. Somebody had an interview, I think I was in Bon County. somebody way down the line is remembered about $16 billion, whether it's true or not. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay. So somebody down the line, somebody sitting in some village remembers $60 billion. All right. So that person, I mean, he doesn't have George Weah on his mind at all. So you see, if somebody way down in the village can remember $16 billion, then you sit down and you think those are not factors. Those are factors that are going to help people to make that decision. Then you look at, I listen to a program and I'm hearing since 2014, just this week, running water is entering Central City. All these things have a serious impact. Somebody will even say, "Oh, this thing happening because of election time. That's why they're bringing all those things to us." Just go and open the faucet and let the people get, and that encourage them to vote for us, right? Bombing to Mosovado, the road got cut just recently. The other videos out there, and that's another disgusting thing. People building bridges just like, to save face, to let Liberian feel that something is happening. See that bridge being destroyed. See how the current is rusty, like no one look after this. The last time we had a broadcast, I had a discussion here about the bridges in Liberia. Have nobody discussing, nobody even cared. There's no maintenance, there's no engineering team, there's nobody going to look at those bridges and see what is happening there. Saying they were built that way, that's it. Even somebody posted on another in 5, the Gabriel Tucker Bridge, right? There is hole on both sides. So they're waiting for that when you drag, then people become concerned. But that's a different thing for another day. But this one I'm saying, can George Weah win on first ballot? For I say, from all of the factors available, it's not possible for him to win the election on first ballot. And not only George Weah, but all of them in the race, it's not possible for any of them to win election on first ballot. It's unlikely. Let me use that word. It's unlikely. Meaning, even if they can, the chances are very slim. For George Weah, the simple factor we can use is take the figure of last election, just to post that with the current voter registration list, and ask yourself the hard question and say whether or not he can win election on first ballot. When George Weah was seen as the best Liberian to become president and change the country around, at that time he could not win election on first ballot. I'm emphasizing this because it's important. He got 39%. 39%. Even with Prince Johnson, everybody supporting him. Now even look into Nima County. Can George Weah get the number he got last election without Prince Johnson? No, it's not possible. George Weah not going to get more votes in Nima County. That's a hard fight, right? Except they managed now this last minute of the time and get Prince Johnson back, but I think it's late. Prince Johnson, I don't think. Anyway, anything can happen, right? But for George Weah to go to Nima and get the vote that he got last election, it's not possible, right? It's not possible. Bon County, you have Joy is there. They will get voting in Bon County. Tiawon Gonglo, vice president, comes from Bon County. The Bon County people are going to give. So the biggest vote from Bon County are going to be going towards Tiawon and the CDC. Yeah. In fact, there's another candidate that comes from Bon County, right? How you call him? Okay, I don't want to mispronounce anybody's name here, but there are some other candidates come from Bon County. So those people are going to collect their votes from Bon County likewise. But there are two major forces in Bon County. That's Tiawon and Joel Fighter. That's probably when it comes to playing. People will go at Joel again, it depends on Joel's performance in Bon County. Right? And not only because of Joel, if Joel were performing, the people could decide to side with Joel. But because of George Weah, they will disagree with Joel to allow Bon County to sway to him. So the people of Bon County are very likely to sway towards how you call him, the LPP vice president, Emmanuel King. What is Emmanuel King's last name? Oh my God. Okay, forgive me for that. The LPP has a young man from Bon County, and very likely that young man may get more vote in Bon County towards the LPP. So George Weah is not going to get the vote he got from Bon County last election. And he's not going to get a vote from Nima County. Lofa, very unlikely. Monserrato, anybody plays over there, right? And the way Darrell Dillon defeated the CDC last election, anything is possible, but Josh Weah will not, very likely not get the vote that he got from Monserrato last election. So with all of the factors, you can clearly see that he cannot win on first ballot. He cannot win on first ballot. So for Joe Weah to win election on first ballot, it's going to be very, 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 very difficult. The chance is very slim. He can't. All right? That's one issue. And there are factors that are interplaying right now in Liberian border politics, and we keep following those things. There are individuals who are behind the scene seriously campaigning against the CDC. So if all of these forces will go against the CDC, George Weah will have to be very, very strong, even on the second round of the election. Except the factors change as far as the second round is concerned. Other than that, for example, what are some of the factors? The United States government has spoken very strongly against some of our brothers who are in Liberia that were sanctioned. And a good political party would have asked those folks, hey guys, we can do all that we can, but just sit in the back seat. We'll keep collaborating, we'll keep doing whatever you want, whatever your thing is, even if that person will be on salary, whatever the situation is, but that person cannot be the face of the CDC in any direction. To do that, you are risking the country in general. Liberians and the Americans will not take those things kindly. Let's say, for example, if Natana Magay wins the election in Magabe County, Bill Twara win election, I think, is that River says? Yeah, I think River says. If you win election in River says, and okay, I'll think the two of them contesting. So you know, C4, that's the best thing you do, my brother. Just keep quiet. Do your low quiet thing. These people can lift sanction anytime. They can post sanction. There will come a time they lift sanction. But you'll be challenging them. Trust me, no sanction going to be lifted on you. And there are a lot of things that happen sometimes, and people don't read history. So sometimes they forget these things. You can't fight America. None of you. So that itself put the CDC in the predicament. Any serious minded Liberian will be careful about the CDC coming into power in their second term. Well, it means right now, you know what the globe is going? I just posted something you said about grains, right? You know whether you like it or not, the Ukrainian war is going to be more serious. Right now, they're not producing grain that they're supposed to. And even what they're producing to get it out of the port is difficult. Russia is bombarding them. And because of that, India has issued a strong warning that there will be no export. I mean, they can't get no grains from India outside. I mean, they're taking precaution of what is happening with Ukraine and Russia. They don't know when that war going to end, and that will just drag the country in the entire globe, the entire world, into some full situation. So they're taking every necessary steps not to make their people to go hungry, because their people don't get food, they will rise up against the government. So those are factors you're going to be looking at. So if you look at all of these factors, and then you get a government that is challenging the world power, even at a point in time where you're supposed to be crying on them to help, They will not come. Even if they come, they will come slowly. They will not come with the kind of expectation that you all should be having. So that's what makes this election to be very, very important. Because the way you go about it, you can't slap America in the face with electing those people the Treasury Department have sanctioned, and you think America going to be happy with you. No, they're not going to be happy with you. So that's a factor that will affect the CDC, right? And it's something you all have to think about. A serious factor that will affect the CDC. If they don't, another Liberian, that's the video I wanted to play. I don't know. I'm not sure I have the time here, of a young man who, looking for iron to survive, and his utterances, even towards angels and God and his mother and all those stuff. So, and I know some Liberians are like that. I'll play that video another time. I know some Liberians are like that. People don't care. They don't even care about their own condition. I don't know whether it's a mental issue or whatever. When I saw that young man, I said, oh my God, I wish somebody would just take a young man and just came into Ghana just for one night. Just one night. Placing in Ghana for one night. You come from Ghana and go to Liberia, you will have a different mindset. Like people in a cave, politically speaking, they see the beam of light. When a car is passing, they see the light, they think that's real light. No. But if one of them leave from there, go out and come back, you say, oh my God. Look, guys, you guys sitting there, this is not life. This is not life. That's what we are on the outside world. We see things that most of you seeing it in Liberia. People don't say this because they want to hit anybody. But there's no reason why a country will be where Liberia is. Some of us grew up in Liberia. Even the life that some of us have in Liberia is not the life people are having right now. Most of you. Educational system is not the same. You have common. How many persons actually use real restroom? It's shameful, disgraceful, but sometimes you look at it, it's a reality. And myself, I live single. I lived 12th Street before, and I know the condition there has not changed. The bulk of the people in 12th Street go what? Go towards the Do River, right? No shame, nothing. You can blame these people. That's the condition of the country. But do they think about it themselves? This is not the life I'm supposed to be living. Now, this is time to make this. They should be making decision. How they're going to decide is up to them. Everybody decide for themselves. This is life. Everybody want to live life the way they think. But we're making this analysis because the first thing is we want to tell Eugene Nangwe and all of those who believe that Joe will going to win election that it's not possible. I would wish that Eugene would be able to give us a rundown as to why he thinks we can win first round. Because these are situations, these are some pronouncements that the young people who have no idea will decide sometimes to go at mob. When election is announced and for any reason Joe doesn't win, they want to take the street because they are being told that Joe would have won election in the first round. And these are the analysis for which we're coming about. George Weah, from all of the factors available, it's not possible that he win election. Not only George Weah, all of them. It's not possible that any of them can easily win election of first ballot. All right? So basically, this is the key for today. The election. Can any one party win the 2023 presidential elections on first ballot? We say no, it's not possible. Why? Because the factors. Looking into the factors, there's no indication that is likely to happen. Particularly so the incumbent. The incumbent did not win election first round. He cannot last election 2017, and this one where you have all of those factors around. I've named them already. The killing of auditors or other persons and all of those things, how to go into AIDA investigation, the living condition of Liberian people, and a lot more. Even government. You go into governance, will point out some things. Even Joelle herself, she had a problem with the CDC. There came a time that the CDC were thinking how to replace her. There was video recording. The superintendent of Bond County, she was dismayed because of all of the other funny tape record that came up. One about Molu's own statement. These are things we're going to be looking at. And women making decisions. You think Liberian people have forgotten? No, they have not forgotten. Those were real the instinct of people. Mama will come and say, "This is what George Weah is doing." The party chairman. You think it was something wrong? They don't think that this major Mama ever said no. This is the time people look through all of these things and take decision. Mama Molu, went and put George Weah outside and said, "This is what the man is doing to get people a job, women job. This is what he's doing." So those are factors that will affect the CDC. So the CDC got 39% 2017. Can they get 50% plus one this time when they have had some serious issues with governance? We say, no, it's not possible. Very unlikely that the CDC can win election on the first ballot. For other people, CDC can win on first ballot. CDC that get the money, that get almost everything, control everything, printing money, all this. You say that you even not get money, just about looking for money. I think they want to looking for money. Everybody looking for the money. So, let me tell Liberian, don't mind those things. Don't mind the money. Let me say this one. You're not going to see the rice like before. The beggar rice to be wasting all around. You're not going to see it in this election because plenty of things happening now with rice issue. Even the few rice are over there. It is CDC will not be calculated when you just divide red like that. Take all the rest of the rice from the warehouses and give it out. You can try. If you get another beggar red, try to manage it a little bit. Try to manage it. You get any gift as a result of this election, manage it because the aftermath might just be very serious. 2024 may be a little tough year for many countries around the world from all of the things that are going on. So take note of that. All right. So this is a cut-up point, and that's what we thought to have discussed this morning. It is a serious issue, and you need to look at Liberia very seriously. Liberia infrastructures are all like getting damaged. All right. So we have to be real with ourselves, and we have to understand that this is the work. This is where we find ourselves when things are going around. Liberia is on an island. Liberia is a little tiny place, tiny little place on the planet. But Liberia can be a beacon of hope for its people and countries around them. I was sitting with one white lady yesterday, and we were talking some stuff, and she was talking she started the conversation, and I said, actually, I'm from Liberia, West Africa, and I started to give us a little history about Liberia. Liberia being the country funded by the United States, all those stuff. But yet she didn't know. The only country she knew about was Ghana. She started telling me more about Ghana. I said, I said, you should be telling me something about Liberia because you guys are from Liberia. I said, well, I haven't been told that. I don't know that. If I don't know, I'm just sharing that from you. So you see, there's a lot more that people should be able to be doing. Liberia was the country on the continent of Africa that was well respected, that people knew, that people ran to. Liberia's name was all out there. So what is happening right now is a different ball game. So people have to do a lot more. Whoever win the election, people have to just think about Liberia very seriously. And that must come from where it is to the place of success. Lift the life of people. To say some of these less unfortunate people in the street. These are all concerns for everybody. The drugs issue these are all concerns. So we just hope the best for Liberia. So this election, whoever wins, Liberia, you have to make a decision. Whatever the result will be. Okay? But that's the biggest thing that we talked today. And what we're talking about is a very serious issue. Predicting the election. I listened to Alexander comments. He doesn't want to say, okay, you know what, I'm going to gain to win. So I don't want to even start talking about second place, second round. That wasn't the first thing for me. I felt like, hey, you can't be saying that because you should be looking at the figure. You're a financial person, look at the figures and make some analysis and see whether you can fit in it. Even for the senatorial positions, you don't have 15 senators in the county. that disadvantage you. You know, all of these parties, why are they not feeding people? Are people worried about contesting elections in Liberia? Why? Even CDC. CDC is feeding just 13 senatorial candidates. I haven't seen the list for representatives, so I want to on the NEC website. I did not see that. So maybe we'll get that too. We'll take our time and look at the figure very good and look at the persons. And we'll take clearly some of these senators will tell and say this senator is very likely not to win election. That's going to be my next analysis. Look at some of these names. If you were to tell you, say it's very unlikely for this person to win election. The obvious could happen, right? But we need to look into the. That's what make you know election interesting. If we had some technical team that would do some survey and give us some result, that would be something that we all could be relying on. I don't think a political survey. Somebody goes to there and say, "Oh, my survey said no." I don't think. I think people look at genuine issues and say these are the factors. For example, I think you say rice it's gonna be hard to find rice come 2024. If I immediately after elections, there's gonna be some tough time leading to the new year, and the factors are all around you. All right, but that's how we want to end today, and yeah, until next time we're going to be here again, but we're not ending on this because we have to look at the senatorial candidate themselves. We have to look at and see who is possible to win the senatorial elections, which one of them Liberians should better gravitate towards. Other than that, hey, there's a lot of problems. We got a lot of independent people. We want to look at them too. Are they truly independent? Is it a game that CDC is playing too with the independent? Are there people who are seditious but even that would be a deception to the CDC, right? If you're sedition and then because the party could not consider anyone independent, then you stealing the vote from the vote are supposed to make the CDC the most stronger. You also taking it away from them. Okay, somebody even that is very close to CDC is also a presidential person, right? So you see, you divide the vote of the president. I know somebody will say it's a strategy. Maybe there'll be a second round. Second round is not your game. Second round is the highest two. That's a big game. All right. So that's how we want to come to the close of the discussion. The takeaway is CDC is very likely not to win election of first ballot. Let's to talk about the other political parties. Okay. Um, okay, somebody, J. Bakule Mulma say he can get 40% first round. Let me put it up here. He can get 40% first round. Not likely. Not likely. I don't even think he will get 40%. Yeah, he had 39% last election. So the second round, he had I think 61% or something. 61%, 10 seconds, 61%. The second round, but first round, he did not get he didn't even reach 40%. So this one, I doubt it. Even Joe Rogan get 40%. I doubt it very seriously. First round, he may very likely not get 40%. The country is angry with George Weah. That's the overall assessment of George Weah performing. The country is not happy with CDC and George Weah. All of the crowd movements, all of the crowd movement is because people need to survive every day. When it's a political rally, there's food being distributed, there's money distributed, so people go all out to get what they want to get. That's the only reason why we are. It is also true that the biggest crowd that you see give an indication that someone is making some impact, some effort. Somebody will say, "Why did you wear somebody t-shirt?" Okay, like I saw, how you call him, Jacob Koluba, right? I saw the photo of Jacob Koluba with two ladies that came from the campaign, boastfully posting with Jacob Koluba to take photo. Oh my God, these people! We gotta stop this. Okay, I'm so sorry for this one. Okay, so Jacket, somebody came from the place and then taking picture with him. So that's just another thing. When you see those things happening, it's just a clear indication of the deception of people. People wear t-shirts, wear the hat, and then they leave. Right? So that's all we can say. It's very much unfortunate that people will will believe that things are possible, but most often these situations are not the way you. Okay, I put your sorry. These other people they don't even monitor, they just keep calling. Okay, so that's how we want to come to the close of today's program. And the factor here we say so to J Bakole Molumba, your reading could be different, but that's how we think. That's what we think it is. Everybody will have their own saying. Everybody have their own reading. Okay, we cannot sit and and believe that people understand the ramification of their decisions until you see the result. All right. Okay. So that's how we want to come to the close of this. I don't like these calls, and individuals don't even have the slightest thought. When you call them off, they keep embarrassing you. All right. So that's how I want to come to the close of this, and I hope that the next time we'll have a better way of keeping conversation. For Kobe, I see Kobe. Kobe is a regular listener. I see Amando Kakash. Are you supporting Pekka? I know who is Pekka. I don't know who is Pekka. All right. So I don't know who is this person, but that's how it is. Okay. So in short, that's how we want to come to the close of it. CDC cannot win election on first ballot, and I don't think any of these political party can do likewise. If you think otherwise, make a comment, give us your analysis. We'll be glad to see your reasoning and know exactly what you actually maybe you could be the best analysis than I do. Like Eugene, but Eugene differ with Eugene Nangbe. Campaign the way he proceeding with it, that's not the way to go by. His prediction is far from the real thing, the factors that are available. No, Jobbik cannot win election of first battle. All right. So thank you so much for those of you who've been watching, who've been listening. Share the video. Until next time. Yeah, this is how we want to come down to close the curtain. Okay. So it was a pleasure to have you with me to discuss what matters to all of us.